Saturday morning, everybody woke up, and the one feeling on everybody's mind was, did we miss our chance to go and secure Champions League football? Because if tomorrow Brighton go and somehow lose to Liverpool, if Everton do the same against Chelsea, and to top it all off, what if Arsenal go and win the Carabao Cup and now they are looking at a quadruple, something that we have never done? It could be one of the worst weekends we've had in recent times. But on that day, when we were drawing 2-2, one thing everybody was talking about was, well, Maguire's going to miss 3 games. At the same time, we should have been given a penalty for Ahmad. And here, the same precedent was not set. And so we were just in utter chaos that Stuart Atwell has cost us Champions League football, not because of something that we did, but because of something he did. He decided that a penalty should not have been given for us, but a penalty for the same kind of foul was given for them. Now, fast forward, not even a week. Fast forward 3 days, and we've seen Brighton beating Liverpool and Everton smashing Chelsea 3-0. And to top it all off, to put the cherry on the cake, Arsenal lose the Carabao Cup final. So, all in all, it's been an amazing week for us. And the whole point being that, yes, Villa may have won. But at the end of the day, what we've done is that we have increased our gap to Chelsea and Liverpool by 1 more point. And if we're being very real, Villa could still fall off, right? Because they had a home game against West Ham. They can still fall off here and there. But we're still looking at Chelsea, who are absolutely horrible. The same thing with Liverpool, but I would still say Liverpool is our main threat. They're the only ones I feel out of the 3 who can really climb us at the moment. And Liverpool losing was just perfect. To the point where, guys, we're just 10 points away from securing Champions League football. This is officially, this is mathematically. But if you are asking me, I'm telling you that we have pretty much secured Champions League football if we can beat Leeds. Because look at the teams around us, right? They're not performing at peak levels or even top 4 levels that we've seen in the past few years. When you're talking about a run-in for top 4, normally you think of Arsenal, you think of Chelsea, Liverpool and United in the past few years. And the levels at which they're sustaining performances towards the end of the year. Guys, think about the COVID year, the lockdown year, when we were fighting for top 4, when we did end up finishing 3rd. But we only ended up finishing 3rd by 1 point. Do you guys remember the form that we were on after lockdown? We were winning almost every game. And I think we only lost 1 game after lockdown. Which means every team involved in this run-up is always putting in world-class form, at least towards the end of the season. Because that's how you push for major honours. If you're fighting for the league, you got to push in proper form towards the end of the season. If you're pushing for top 4, you got to push in prime form towards the end of the season. And if you're trying to beat relegation, you do the same thing. But if you look at right now how Chelsea are performing, you look at how Liverpool are performing, it's not just the fact that they're losing, but it's rather how they are losing these points. Liverpool game, yes, Brighton scored 2-1, but I'm telling you, if it was a better team against them, you normally see them losing 2-3-0. And this is why, the way we are playing as well, you would expect that United can go and take the precedent forward. And now we can push on for more major things. What am I talking about? I'm talking about a points total, a goals total, because these are the 2 metrics I would say right now that we should be focused on. Champions League football is pretty much secured. But now we can push it a bit further. We can push our levels to say, this was the standard benchmark last season. So now we got to push higher than that. What am I talking about? Well, we have about 55 goals scored and about 55 points as well. So we want to make it a point out of 21 possible. If we could get, let's say, 15 points, this pushes us up to 70 points. Now, if 70 points is your total at the end of the season, after having seen everything that we've gone through this season, starting all the way from Grimsby, the loss against Arsenal, the smashing against City, Brentford, and all the hardships, the number of draws we had under Amorim in winnable games at home. Yet, if we still get 70 points, when under Ten Hag we got 75 in the season that we were nearly flawless, at Old Trafford we were only considered 9 goals, yet we finished that season with 75 points. Now, fast forward to this season, if we get, after everything we've been through this season, if we get 70 points, that's a strong benchmark to set. If we can match that with about 72, 73 goals, that is beating all our goals totals from the past few years. At the same time, we're matching something close to what we replicated under Ole. in that 2021 season, where it was probably our best attacking season, post Mourinho at least. That season needs to be matched at least goal tally wise, because that's how you show the rest of the Premier League and the rest of the world that we're a serious attack that needs to be reckoned with when we go into the Champions League, when we go into the Premier League next season. Everybody needs to fear that attack. And yes, we're gonna advance. We're gonna improve on the players that we have as well. However, we also need to focus on how can we make a statement for ourselves right now. And the best way to do this, performance-wise, you know what? We're dealing with teams who want to transition from the back, because it's only the low blocks that we struggle with. And at the same time, I would say that right now, the only players you can deal with a low block would probably be a Cunha, who could probably be a Sesko if you really give him the right tools. The other players really can't do it at the moment. So maybe, potentially, if you bring in an NDI, then suddenly you have a player who can deal with low blocks. Which is why we don't want a runner per se at winger. Though people might say we need a contrasting option on the wing to Cunha, because Cunha offers us one thing, we need something totally different. I would say we need something exactly like Cunha on the other side, because we don't have that in Mbeumo or even Ahmad, who normally has the tactics to do all that, but he's just not been able to show it this season because, well, it's just not been his year. Because we saw how direct Ahmad was last season, but this season, he's just sitting back. He's double guessing himself. And because of that, when he gets into the decisive half, when he gets into the final third, he can't really take his chances. And this is going to cost us in the long run. So if you guys even think Ahmad should still keep his place, having seen everything that happened, and you think we don't need a winger, well, we are in big trouble. Because once Dorgu's back, we're going to experiment him at left wing again, and we're going to experiment him at left back as well. Because if he does click at left back, we're probably going to go for a backup left back option or a right back. And if he clicks at left wing, we need a left back option. So it's going to be really instrumental, depending on how Dorgu performs, where exactly we're going to invest in the summer. And just generally looking at everything, we're going to secure top 4, by the way. The way that Chelsea have been playing, the way Liverpool have been playing, Liverpool especially with the PSG games to come, there's a chance that if they were to get to the semi-finals against Bayern Munich, those games would be sandwiched in between our game, which means that they would probably rest players for our game, which means they're knocked out of top 4 automatically. So we kind of secretly want to get to the semi-finals so that we can smash them at Old Trafford and do the double on Liverpool. But yeah, generally, other than that, guys, we're just performing, we're just doing what we need to. And this is why, even though in the moment it felt like we needed the win, you look at things and how it unfolded, and suddenly you see, well, it's not so bad. In fact, we could be challenging for a lot more things. What are we targeting right now? We're targeting a goals points total. We're targeting a points total that we want for the end of the season, to really show everybody that, we mean business. We have to show that we have set a benchmark, and this is the benchmark that we're going to continue with next season, because the floor is low right now. The floor is very low, to the point where, guys, we're not even that far. If we were to really take it, right, beyond relegation, we're just 20 points off. And 20 points of relegation normally would put you somewhere around 7th or 8th, but that's where we are, in 3rd place. So this shows you how close the Premier League is. There's a chance that Liverpool and Chelsea particularly, in, I think, 5th, is it? So Chelsea in 5th is almost, 6 or 7 points only above 13th place. So that's how close the Premier League is right now. Now, we are not in that fight, fortunately, because we picked up our points under Michael Carrick. Now, we have a little bit of a gap to Chelsea, which means we have about 12 points to 13th, or that whole dogfight there. So we're not going to be involved in that. But the thing is, the Premier League is so close that any small advantage that we can take advantage of, we need to take it right now, so that next season we won't be worrying about things like this. Next season we won't be thinking of, oh, our defense isn't performing well enough, or, oh, Casemiro can't control the ball anymore. He can pass, he can progress, but when it comes to him being put under pressure, suddenly he succumbs. Same thing with Kobbie Mainoo. He can't do it alone, so he needs another player. And this is exactly why we need Bruno Guimaraes. And we need Adam Wharton as well. But out of all the midfield options that we've listed, I'm going to talk about this in tomorrow's video when it comes to the transfer targets that we need to target. But we need a certain Bruno Guimaraes. Now, where does he rank in my priority list? Well, check that out in my next video and see you all there.